everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. You are joining me in the middle-ish of my Christmas in July series. I wonder if my light's in the way. This card's a little bit hard to see on camera, I think, so I've got my lights a little bit closer than normal, but I don't want them to be in the way. So I've been doing Christmas cards, and I'm not going to show you all of the ones I've done up to this date, but I'm doing another metallic. So I'm going to show you the metallic ones I've done, glittery ones that I've done, and then let you know if you're like, that's all she's going to do. This is the end of those. And then I'm going to use the Santa and the sleigh. I'm going to use tree lot. I'm going to use the gnomes. So we're going away from the more fancy, elegant kind of Christmas cards. The first one I did was the holly. And we're going to move on to some other styles. But it's just easy when I have embossing stuff here and similar things to keep going in one vein. Sometimes I don't intend to do a series, and it just happens as I start stamping. So if you've missed it, here are the ones that I've done that are along the metallic line. And the fun thing about these is that if you like the paper I'm using today better than this, you could do this card and just swap out any of these papers with any of the stamp sets. And the same as what I've been doing, just use a different color of embossing powder and just go with the colors, the words, the sentiments, the designs that you like, but stay with the style. So here is one, and it used the flurries. It's something flurries. It's on the thing. So there were these two and had the flurry stamp, the bundle. And then this one's super glittery. It's maybe my favorite of the glitter series. It's really, really pretty. And this uses Light Aglow and the glitter paper. The great thing about these cards is that because we're letting the paper do so much of the work for us, they're really easy. Like this one, if people don't stamp, they might think, oh, that took a really long time, but it doesn't. This one has the distressed gold. The one I'm doing today has distressed gold. A lot of them have these papers here are all from the Light Aglow suite. So if you look at that suite, you'll see all of these papers. And then these two, the red and white paper, are from the candy cane. So everything mixes and matches. I haven't done the candy canes either. Oh, I have so many things, so many Christmas things. So for this one, I'm going to use Peace to You. Now I have already used it. This is probably what I'm going to use for my Christmas cards. And so when I first got the stuff from the new catalog, I made this card. So the card that we're doing today is kind of a theme. Now this paper right here is from Light Aglow. The paper I'm using on this one, not from Light Aglow. So I'm going to use, and I'm not going to use this stamp set, but I used gold embossing powder. I used the sentiments that I had been using, Hope and Peace. And today I'm just going to straight up use just the stamp set. Not going to use any big shots or die cutting things. I can't believe I still say that, call it that. It's been years now. So we're just going to use this. So this one's super fast. It does have some coloring, which could slow you down. If you love to color like me, then just emboss them all and put them by the TV and then color. It's very, very, very minimal coloring though. And you could probably do without it. I just kind of liked it because the distressed gold paper, it makes me feel like I'm in Italy. So it's a fun little riff on making it kind of an old looking thing with the color added to it. But I'm going to use this paper. I have no clue what it's called. I should have looked it up. It will be down below the video. So you can see it comes in the green and gold. That's what I'm using on this card. I did think about switching it up because you could do black and silver, and I should try to whip one of those out real fast because in this one I heat embossed silver on silver. So you could use this piece of paper and the same thing that I'm doing now, just emboss the silver on silver. See how you can kind of switch it up with whatever colors, whatever you like. Or if you have this whole pack of paper and you have the metallic embossing powders, instead of buying more, because you can just use the one color, just do different styles of the same card. So there's the black and silver. And then this one you will see make an appearance after my Christmas in July because I'm going to do some fun fall things with this one. Isn't that pretty? I love oranges. That orange and green, my favorite colors. So let's do this card. Like I said, super, super fast. I'm not going to use the nativity, and I'm not using the Peace to You at Christmas. All the rest of it is going to appear on the card. So, and I debated. I kept it a little bit more on the rustic Italy side. Is that even a thing? Rustic old France. kind of that feel. So I went with soft suede for my background. If you want to keep it a little bit more elegant, I think if you put it on Evening Evergreen, then this is kind of what makes it look a little bit rustic because of the soft suede. But it's kind of my color at the moment. So this is just a half a sheet of cardstock. I am going to show you what to do with this. So this paper, as you see, comes 6 by 6, but it's not going to fit on the card 6 by 6. So the first thing you want to do is cut it into 4 inches, because we need 4 inches for the front of our card. You could do 4 1/8 if you want and have a smidge more of this instead of the suede showing. I like the soft suede showing. So we're going to use this. And now this is 6, but we need it to be 5 1/4. I want to keep more of the green and lose some of this because there's a lot of this. And if you cut this off, then there's just not very much of the green showing. So I'm going to make sure I cut this way. And my 5 is down here. So just trim that off at 5 1/4. Now, I'm not going to do anything with this piece on this card, but this has a lot of character to it. So keep that because you can use it on something else. So that's all we need to do to cut our card. We're going to use the other piece, but we're going to use scissors. And if you don't want to use scissors, you don't have to. You can get your paper trimmer back out. I just ran out of space on my desk. So here's the distressed gold. You can see it's literally a scrap piece. The first one I did, scrap piece. That's why I have all these little pieces, because I cut them off the bottoms where they were all things that I'd made before. So I'm going to emboss everything at once this time. When I made the card the first time, I did not, because I didn't know what I was going to do with it. So here's the church. You could easily do the nativity, or you could do some of each. So you have both to choose from. They're both really pretty stamps. Now I really want to do a silver one because I'm sitting here looking at my ribbon going, oh, I could use that ribbon. I could make it look a little country with the black and the silver. So I'm just going to stamp this on here. This is a tiny bit wider than my first one was. So if it's too wide, then I probably will get my paper trimmer. Because I would rather just see this, because we're going to leave it long and not lose the evergreen. So there's that. And then I'm going to take this end right here and the little one that says the light of the world. I'm just going to put it right here. I don't know if it's right side up or upside down. We're going to make a little tag so it doesn't matter. And then on the inside of my card, since I'm embossing and since this is a little rustic and I'm going for that Italian rustic look, I have put both of my sentiments that I want to use on one stamp. So I think it says Silent Night, Holy Night. May God's hope and love shine on you this season. Oh, I can read it. I was trying to read it off the stamp set, but that's dark enough. So now I'm just going to take my embossing tray. If you don't have one of these, I've used it so much recently, I don't know how you could not have one. So we'll put this on here. When I first started stamping, if you've heard my story, all I did was emboss. So all of my Christmas cards for years had embossed insides because I didn't have any colors of ink. And then a little bit here. So you can see, I wanted you to see that the Versamark stays wet for a while. I'm going to touch that. And I haven't poured any of this stuff back in from my original card, and I'll just do that when I'm done. Take it over there. And just knock that off. Okay, so now I'm going to heat these. I will put this back in a minute. If I was making more cards, I would just use this till it's empty, the jar, and then I would pour it back when I was finished. This one is pretty easy to see when it heat embosses because it is dusty, and I find it much easier to hold it one spot. That way you're not going to have any parts that don't emboss and get knocked off later. So just as it goes shiny and raised up, then move your heat tool on. And then just kind of wave it around to make sure that you got everything. That looks good. Now this paper here, I can tell that it would melt and separate. So that's why I did it second, because I wanted my gun nice and hot. You can see that light of the world. And then let's come over to our inside. Okay. So again, I often don't do these cards on film because it's hard to see. They are so pretty in person. That's why I kind of moved my lights, hoping that you'd be able to see. So we have these pieces. And this card really doesn't take very long at all. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to color it with a variety of things. Now, I have heard that you shouldn't use blends with embossing powder. I don't know if that's true or if it's one of those rumors that get started. So for the most part, I'm going to use markers. But then I need a little bit of a darker color, and my markers are across the room and the blends are here. So I'm just going to show you both. So this is crushed curry, and on this one, I am just coloring right over the top of that embossing powder and then just add a tiny bit up here to that cross. And then I have my Evening Evergreen Stampin' Right marker. And really, the blend would not work for this. And you could use any color. I just went with the evergreen because that's what our paper is. But any green would kind of work. So these little strips are super, super thin. So I just pull those down, and I will finish that off camera. And then I took my smoky slate, I think it is. Yep. And on this, I just used my brush tip. And it does take, you have to go over it like 2 or 3 times. So do it once, kind of let it dry, because this distressed paper is resisting the marker. So you can see it's getting a little bit of color. The brighter colors, because that's smoky slate, but I don't want my church to be like purple. But here when I added, this is a blend. And because I'm not sure about the whole rumor and the embossing powder, I'm barely touching it. But the blends also color the embossing powder, and it doesn't come off. When you put the Stampin' Right marker on the embossing powder, it resists. And then I took soft suede and I did the tree trunks. And see, it looks like it's going to be nice and dark, and then it just kind of disappears as it goes off of the part of the distressed paper that doesn't hold the ink. See, it's already fading. So I did that, and then I tried it with soft suede, and again, the brush tip. But I was super careful not to touch stuff because, I'm just afraid. I don't know what it could do to the tip of it, but, if anybody knows if that rumor is true, you can tell me in the comments. And then maybe if it's not true, I can use my blends with it. And then just right here where it might be some wood on my church, just so it has a different color than the smoky slate. So I'm just going to take a minute and I'll fast forward that bit of me and color in the rest of the trees. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I hope you can see it. I will take some up close pictures. It's also a rainy gray day here today, so I don't have a lot of natural sunlight coming in, but I will get some close up pictures on my website so you can hop over there and see them. So let's take this. And I am just going to trim about that much off. And if I need to trim a little bit more, so I don't know what size this is. It's just around the stamp and then some under. And then let's take this little bit that says Light of the World. And again, I'm just going to trim right up close to those words. And you probably can't see, but the paper has buckled a little bit. So you don't want to heat this long. You want to make sure that when you go to heat this part, that your gun's nice and hot. Make this a little bit shorter. And then just do a little tag. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. So got that. A little snip more off of here. As long as you stay pretty close to your words, then it's hard to tell if they're cut straight. So let's put our card together. It goes together super fast. I don't have any dimensionals. There's nothing fancy. I did use Seal Plus just because the double whammy of this being a specialty paper, and sometimes they don't stick very well to other specialty papers. See, the other one is a little bit slimmer. I can get that off because it's specialty paper. So I am going to trim this because I want to see more of the green. And while this is beautiful, there's not any point in putting that back there if you're going to cover it all up, right? So just trim this right up the side. I'm going to leave some at the top. And then we have all that at the bottom. So it's obvious now that we used the beautiful gold distressed paper, but I got back a little bit more of my green. Just that fraction of a bit helps. And then for those of you that hate bows, this is really going to be your card. So I took my evening evergreen ribbon and just tied a knot. So the secret when you do these is just pull it till your knot takes shape and then don't go any further. Because if you keep pulling, it's just going to be a tiny little knot and it's going to look like your ribbon got knotted. We want a pretty knot. And again, this helps to have a Seal Plus. So put a little piece here to hold your knot down. And then I'm just going to put a little bit over here, a little bit over here. And then before I'll turn it around. I did it this way before because I didn't know what I was going to do with the. So because it's Seal Plus, it doesn't take very much to hold it. So those little bits will be plenty. Isn't that so pretty? And how easy is that? I mean, that's super easy. And while it takes some specialty paper that costs a little bit more, it doesn't take hardly any of anything else. So buy a couple of packs of paper and you're good to go. Now we have this little tag that we can just fit in there. That's why it doesn't matter if it's straight. It's going to go down here and all this confetti goodness. So nobody's going to know if this is straight. And then I intentionally didn't put any on the end because it's got that tiny bit of a curl going for it. And then, I mean, how can you not use the gold dots to add with the snowflake feel of gold dots? I have lost, here it is. So I'm going to put 5. And this is a time, if there's any place, there's a couple of places, I think there may be snowflakes. It's hard to tell in my light right now and I don't want to move it. But if you have some place where you maybe had like a little divot in your, there's a golf mom, in your embossing, then just cover it up with these. And you can put even more than 5. So if I did, I'm like dying to do the silver one now. I just don't have time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you did the black and silver paper here, oh, come on. You could use the silver ones and emboss in silver. Oh my goodness, I just feel like I need to do that. But I can't. My husband will be home momentarily and I have to get these videos posted so they're ready to go. Oh, and then the inside I took, I will just show you this one because it's stamped the same way. So here it is where you have your words here. And I just took this piece and I trimmed it down a little bit. You could even use this piece over here. Just so the inside, I'll do that. The other one needed to be cut. This one doesn't have to be cut, so much faster. In fact, let's do it like this. So just it's Christmas. You want everything to be shiny and glitzy and glimmery and pretty. So there you go. We're more than halfway through now, Christmas in July. Go to my website to see the pictures, to find out what my thank you gifts are for this month, and to see the up close pictures of this where I'll try to get it at an angle where you can kind of see it a little bit better. If you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything that you want to see, this week's kind of is pretty much set now, but I will come back to other Christmas things. And if there's any fall stuff, I'm going to be segueing into fall here in the next couple of days. So everybody have a great one, and I'll catch you back here tomorrow. Bye.